Okay, picture this. It's Saturday morning, maybe, 11 a.m., the sun's shining, and you peek into your teenager's room hoping for signs of life. But nope, just a lump under the duvet. Sound familiar? We all joke about teens and sleep, but today we're going to dig into why. It's not just them being lazy.
Exactly. There's real science behind it. We're diving deep into teenage sleep today. We'll be looking at info from the CDC about school start times, the Sleep Foundation's take on teen sleep needs, a really interesting piece from Neurology Live on their body clocks, and even some advice from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry on screen time.
Right, and our mission really is to understand why teens need so much sleep, what makes it so hard for them to get it, and hopefully share some useful stuff for anyone living with or, caring for a teenager.
Let's do it.
So the big one first, why do teenagers seem biologically programmed to stay up late and sleep till noon? What's going on there?
Well, it's fascinating, actually. There's a major biological shift happening during adolescence. It
Yeah.
all comes down to their circadian rhythm.
Your internal body clock, right?
Precisely.
Uh,
And in teenagers, that clock, it it shifts later. It gets recalibrated.
Recalibrated how?
Okay, think about melatonin. That's the hormone that tells your body, hey, it's time to wind down, get sleepy.
Research highlighted by places like Neurology Live and the Sleep Foundation they mention. Dr. Lisa Meltzer's work shows melatonin release is delayed in teens. We're talking about roughly 2 hours later compared to adults or younger kids.
2 hours.
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, so if I start feeling tired around, say, 10 p.m., a teenager's brain might not even start that process until midnight or even later.
That's exactly it. And crucially, this isn't them choosing to stay up or being defiant. It's physiology. They genuinely feel sleepy later.
hmm
And so naturally, they need to wake up later to get enough rest. It's not just bad habit.
Ah, okay. So that morning struggle to get them out of bed for school,
Mm.
that's their biology fighting the alarm clock.
Pretty much, yeah. And another layer to this, something Neurology Live points out, is that teenagers might actually be more sensitive to light exposure in the evening, especially that blue light from screens.
Which can suppress melatonin even more and push sleepiness even later.
So scrolling on their phone at night isn't just keeping their mind busy. The light itself is actively working against sleep.
It's a really key part of the puzzle. We'll definitely circle back to screen time, but the main thing to grasp first is this fundamental biological shift in their sleep timing.
Okay, so biology wires them to be night owls, essentially. How much sleep do they actually need then during these years?
The Sleep Foundation is pretty clear on this. For teenagers, so ages 13 to 18, the target is 8 to 10 hours per night.
8 to 10 hours, that sounds like quite a lot compared to adults. Why so much?
Well, sleep is just fundamentally critical for everything happening during adolescence.
Mhm.
Their physical growth, social development, emotional balance, learning, everything. It's like the body and brain's essential overnight maintenance and upgrade cycle.
Like running essential updates on a computer.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. During sleep, their heart and vascular system get a chance to recover. It's also absolutely vital for learning and memory consolidation. The Sleep Foundation notes that getting enough sleep helps form memories, improves concentration, attention. They even link poor sleep to needing more time to finish homework.
Huh. So staying up super late to cram might actually make learning harder the next day.
Absolutely. A tired brain just doesn't work as well. And beyond learning, sleep is when crucial hormones are released. Hormones for growth, muscle development, bone growth, sexual maturation. It's all happening then. Plus, it strengthens their immune system.
Okay, so skimping on sleep isn't just about feeling tired. It has real physical downstream effects.
Definitely. And the downsides of not getting enough sleep are pretty serious.
Hmm.
Cognitively, the Sleep Foundation points out it messes with memory, attention, reaction time, judgment, alertness. Emotionally, there's a much higher risk for anxiety and depression, plus just general irritability and mood swings.
We've all been there after a bad night, right? Grumpy and out of sorts. Imagine that layered onto teenage hormones and social stuff.
Exactly. And physically, lack of sleep is linked to a higher chance of weight gain, getting sick more often.
Yeah.
And this is a really scary one. Driving safety. Drowsy driving, according to NHTSA data cited by the Sleep Foundation, is the #1 killer of 15 to 18-year-olds.
Wow. That is sobering.
It really is. And the list goes on. Poorer grades, more sick days from school, making poor decisions more impulsive, risk-taking behavior, and potentially chronic sleep debt in teen years could have long-term health consequences into adulthood.
Gosh, it's way more than just being a bit tired then. It impacts literally every part of their life and future.
It really does. Which brings us to a huge practical barrier for many teens getting that vital 8-10 hours school start times.
Ah, yes. The age-old teenage complaint, school starts so early.
And they have a point, according to the CVC. Their data, okay, it's from 2011-2012, but it's revealing, showed that fewer than 1 in 5 U.S. public middle and high schools started at the recommended 8:30 a.m. or later.
Less than 20%. That seems incredibly low. What was the average then?
The average start time was just 8:03 a.m. And the CDC highlights, based on recommendations from the American Academy of Pediatrics, that starting at 8:30 a.m. or later is what would actually give teens a realistic shot at getting 8.5 to 9.5 hours of sleep.
So most school schedules are fundamentally clashing with teenage biology.
Pretty much. The AAP actually urged schools back in 2014 to move start times to 8:30 a.m. or later for precisely this reason, to support student health and learning.
And the CDC mentioned that these start times are decided locally, right? District by district or school by school.
That's right, which leads to huge variation.
Hmm.
But the overall conclusion from the CDC is clear. These early starts are a major systemic barrier. They literally prevent many teens from getting the sleep they need to be healthy, safe, and successful academically.
It does feel like we're kind of setting them up to fail sleep-wise with those early bells. But it's not just school times, is it? What else gets in the way?
Oh, absolutely not. There are definitely other big factors. Screen time is a huge one. The Sleep Foundation notes that most teens have smartphones, and they spend a lot of time on screens, like an average of maybe 8 hours a day, not even counting schoolwork use.
8 hours. Wow, that's a lot of screen time.
It is.
Yeah.
And like we touched on, that blue light exposure, especially near bedtime, it really does a number on their sleep. It suppresses melatonin, makes it take longer to fall asleep, can lead to waking up during the night and just feeling more tired the next day. Both the Sleep Foundation and the AACA-CAPI stress this.
So that bedtime Instagram scroll or TikTok binge isn't just killing time, it's actively sabotaging their sleep cycle.
Exactly. And it's not only the light, it's also, the constant buzz of notifications, maybe texting late at night.
Yeah.
It fragments their sleep. The recommendation, turn off screens 30 to 60 minutes before bed, that comes from the AACAP, strongly echoed by the Sleep Foundation.
Makes sense. Easy to say, probably harder to enforce sometimes. What about other demands? Schoolwork, activities?
Huge factor. Homework alone averages around 7 hours a week, according to the Sleep Foundation. Then you add sports, clubs, maybe a part-time job. Evenings get packed really fast. There just isn't much time left for sleep.
It's that classic time crunch, and sleep is often the first thing that gets squeezed out.
For sure. And then there's the social side, peer pressure. The Sleep Foundation mentions FOMO, the fear of missing out. Teens might stay up later just because they don't want to miss what's happening online or with friends, and studies link that FOMO directly to later bedtimes and less sleep overall.
Yeah, that pull to stay connected, be part of the group, that can definitely overpower feeling tired.
Absolutely. And finally, we should also mention underlying issues. Sleep disorders affect about 4% of kids, and insomnia can hit up to 30%. Those obviously disrupt sleep. And there's a strong link between insomnia and things like anxiety and depression, too.
Wow, okay, so it's a real tangled web biology, school, screens, social pressure, maybe even health issues. It's complex. So let's talk solutions. What can parents and teens actually do to try and carve out more sleep? What are some practical tips?
Yeah, the Sleep Foundation has some really good, actionable advice. The foundation is good sleep hygiene. This means having a consistent, relaxing bedtime routine, dimming the lights in the evening, and crucially, sticking to a regular sleep schedule, even on weekends.
Ah, the weekend lie-in temptation. So sleeping until noon on Saturday isn't actually helpful.
It feels good in the moment, but it can really mess up their body clock for the week ahead. It makes Monday morning even harder. A consistent wake-up time, maybe allowing a little extra sleep, but not hours and hours, is generally better.
Okay, consistency is key. What else?
Limiting that screen time before bed, like we said. Ideally, getting devices out of the bedroom altogether. That's a big one. Naps can help catch up a bit, but keep them short and not too close to bedtime. Otherwise, it can make it harder to fall asleep at night.
Right, don't want to steal sleep from the night.
Exactly. Another suggestion is to actually look at the schedule. Are they overcommitted? Sometimes prioritizing sleep might mean scaling back on an activity or work hours, if possible. And really importantly, involve the teenager. Talk with them about their sleep, make decisions together. That fosters buy-in.
Makes sense. Collaboration, not just rules from on high.
Precisely. Encouraging relaxing things before bed helps signal wind-down time. Reading a real book, a warm bath, calm music. Also important, regular exercise during the day helps, and getting some natural sunlight in the morning helps set that body clock. And the usual advice applies to avoid caffeine late in the day, big heavy meals close to bedtime, those can interfere. Some find journaling or a short meditation helpful to quiet a racing mind before sleep.
Those are all really solid, practical things. It reminds me, I read the story about a parent who worked with their son on sleep. They set a wind down alarm, made the bedroom a phone free zone, and saw huge improvements in his grades and his mood just by getting consistent sleep.
That's a perfect example of the impact it can have. And underpinning all this advice is the need to reinforce the message. Needing more sleep isn't laziness. It's a normal, necessary part of teenage brain development and growth. They genuinely need the rest.
Okay, so let's pull this all together. The big takeaway is that teens biologically need a lot of sleep, 8 to 10 hours. But a perfect storm of factors, especially early school starts and screen time, often means they fall way short. And that lack of sleep seriously impacts their mood, their learning, their physical health, their safety, pretty much everything.
Exactly. So that groggy, hard-to-wake teenager isn't just being difficult. Their brain and body are literally crying out for more rest during this really demanding phase of life.
So if you're listening, maybe this is food for thought. Perhaps it sparks a conversation with the teens in your life about their sleep.
And maybe that leads to a final thought for you to take away. What's one small change you, or a teen, could try this week? Just aiming for maybe 30 extra minutes of sleep a night. What kind of positive ripple effect could even that small shift have on their day, on their mood, their ability to focus, their overall well-being? Something to think about.